What's going on, you bunch of heretics, and welcome to Heresy is My Therapy. Today is all about the Death Korps of Krieg. Finally getting a full complement of Death Korps of Krieg. Death Korps riders, command squad, heavy weapons teams, support crews, engineers, and of course we've got our veteran guardsmen. These are just some of the most fantastic and iconic models, I would say, within the 40k universe. Now, for those of you that have been watching the Instagram page, you'll have seen that I've done a few test models for our Death Korps of Krieg, and today I'm going to give you a bit more of a grim-dark way to paint your Death Korps of Krieg. Following from the contrast black videos, it's kind of inspired that look, that grim dark look, and I'm sure many of you have seen Trench Crusade, which has also kind of inspired this look as well. So everything you need will be in the description below. So without further ado, let's get to it. Here he is, our Death Korps of Krieg veteran guardsman. I think this is the Watchmaster that we have here. He's looking good, got his sword, got his bolt pistol. He is ready to do the Emperor's work. We've got our wet palette. We have got our paint pot to the right, our Lahmian medium. Brushes, paper, more brushes. He is, and of course, primed in Chaos Black. Let's go. Right, as always, Administratum Grey is going to be our first paint of choice. We're going to get some on our brush. As always, this doesn't change, guys. Taking it off the brush, plenty off, plenty off, plenty off. And we're going to put small circles all over the model. We're going to do 2 layers of this, just all over the model, small circles, getting absolutely everywhere to give ourselves a really good baseline. Okay, so in absolutely everywhere. Use a variety of brushes if you want to, but we want to get 2 layers of Administratum Grey dry brushed onto this model. When we've done, we're then going to take our clean dry brush and we're just going to get rid of all that excess dust. And that's how your first layer should look. So your first set of Administratum Grey. Next, we're going to go with Ulthuan Grey, and same again, we're going to get our smaller dry brush now. Get a little bit on the paintbrush, take all of it off, and same again, we're going to do small circles all over the model where the light would shine. Go a little bit lighter if you want to. Do 2 coats, no issue at all. But we're only going where the light would start to catch. This is where we get a bit of contrast, we get a bit more shadowing, and this is where our contrast paints will do a bit more of the work as well to create some really nice effects. Like I say, 2 layers of this is all you're really going to need, but only where the light is reaching. So tops of the models, no need to go underneath, it's just the tops of the model where the light would go. And same again, we're going to get our clean dry brush and we're just going to take off all of that excess dust. And there he is, looking good. Finally, we're going to get our white scar. Exactly the same concept as before, guys. Small dry brush, white scar on the brush. Take it all off with our paper. And all we're going to do is we're just going to do same again, just 1 layer over the tops of the model where the light would shine. Just to really give that bit more punch with the highlights for the model. Okay, so just over the model once you've got a nice bright white on the tops. And then same again, we're going to get our clean dry brush and we're just going to take off all of that excess paint. And there he is, primed and ready to go for some contrast paints. First up, Basilicanum Grey. This is basically going to be our foundation paint for this model. No need to mix it with anything, just straight onto the palette. The wet palette will do its job, and all we're going to do is going to do 2 thin coats of Basilicanum Grey all over the model. It's going to be on his greatcoat, on his trousers, on the arms, and that's everything. So arms, trousers, greatcoat, that's where we're going to go with this. I'm going to do 2 thin coats. Remember, move the paint around, don't let it pool. Okay, don't let it pool. We just want 2 thin coats over the model. Don't forget the gloves as well. So yeah, the gloves as well are also going to be included with this. Okay. So like we say, 2 thin coats. If you want to add a 3rd, you can do on the trousers perhaps, because we are going to use Black Templar in a moment. And there he is, 2 thin coats done, ready to go. Once that's dried, we're going to get our Black Templar. Black Templar or Black Legion, whichever one you want, depending on the dark you want to go to. I quite like Black Templar, it has a nice hue to it. Make sure that we mix it up with our Lahmian Medium. So we're going to go probably 50-50 mix of Lahmian Medium to Black Templar. This is kind of like a bit of a, almost like a wash that we're going to go a couple of times over this. I would go 2 or 3 thin coats on the great coat. Okay, so this is going on the great coat. Should have also reminded you the boots as well. Okay, so the bottom parts of the boots, I do apologise. Yep, so the boots and the great coat are all going to get this Black Templar applied. Okay, so the boots, and also the gloves, it's just the trousers that we're leaving with the Basilicanum grey. Okay, but again, 2 thin coats, move the paint around, add a third if you want to make it darker, but this will dry quite dark, so let it dry first, then if you want to go back to it, feel free to. Okay, but here I've just done, I think it's like 2 or 3 thin coats, and that will dry quite nicely. Next up, we're going to get our Gorg Winter Fur, and all we're going to do is going to cover the backpack. It's going to cover the sort of like strapping on the boots, and it's going to cover obviously where the rebreather would go into, and the rebreather hose as well, or his respirator hose as well. So any sort of like webbing straps on the front, that's where this the Gorg Winter Fur is going to go. As you can see, I also add a little bit of Lahmian Medium in there. Again, 50-50 mix of Lahmian Medium to Gorg Winter Fur, and just 2 thin coats is all you're going to need with this. Yep, so on the front there, on the back. And of course the boot straps as well, boot straps. Okay, and like I say, 2 thin coats is all you're really going to need with this. But again, like I say, use the Lahmian Medium, get a good 50-50 mix, and just do 2 thin coats. All right. There he is. Next up, we're going to get our Cygor Brown. Again, same again, it's going to be treated like a bit of a wash. Again, we're going to go 50-50 mix of Cygor Brown and Lahmian Medium. He says, come on, that's it. So like I say, 50-50 mix of Cygor Brown and Lahmian Medium. Say, and again, almost like a wash, like a shade. We're just going to go over that. Okay, it's a bit deeper than an Agrax Earth shade, so don't worry about that. And again, all we're doing, all those areas that we've applied that Gorg Winter Fur to, we're just going to go over with it with the Cygor Brown. And again, 2 thin coats is all you're going to need, but they need to be thin coats. If you just go straight from the pot with this, it's going to really darken it and it's not going to look so great. All right? Don't worry about the rebreather hose though. Next, we're going to get our Xandri Dust. And all we're going to do here is we're going to put our Xandri Dust onto our palette. And all we're going to do, this is going to go onto the rebreather itself, and it's also going to go onto like the sandbag that he's got type thing on the top of his pack. And again, all this is 2 thin coats, okay, 2 thin coats. So 2 thin coats on the sort of sandbag on the top of his bag. And obviously the same again on his rebreather, okay, 2 thin coats just on his respirator, like the cloth parts on the respirator. Again, take your time with this, use a small layer brush for this, just to get in those little bits of detail. Right, and there it is there. So we're going to get some Guilliman flesh, and all we're going to do with this is just going to go straight just onto your palette, just thin it down a little bit, and then all we're going to do is going to go onto the rebreather itself. So again, just a thin layer of this, just to kind of give it a bit more of a worn look, but not too worn like an Agrax Earth shade would make it. Okay, and also we're going to put that on the sandbag as well. Now we're going to apply Agrax Earth shade onto the sandbag, just to give it a bit more of a darker, worn look. We don't want to do this too much for the respirator, but we do want to do this for the sandbag on the back. Okay, so Guilliman flesh for the respirator on the front, and Agrax Earth shade on the like the sandbag on his backpack. There he is there. Next up, we've got our Xandri Dust, and you know the routine with this, guys. We're going to get our flat head dry brush. We're going to take all of the paint off the brush when we've dipped it in, and we are just feather dusting over the model just to give it that sort of dusty edge highlight, and it will just take away a lot of the blotchiness if there is any on the model. Okay, so just very, very thin, just take your time with it, feather dust this on, take absolutely everything off and just slowly build from there to get the desired effect. All right, feather dusting, guys. This is the part where I'm just going to base it. I'm going to use some Sterling mud here for the type of base that I want. It's probably a good opportunity for you guys to start to add, including your basing if you want to. So all I'm doing, I'm just adding a little bit of my Sterling mud in there. Just plonking it on. And then all I'm doing with that is just give it, I want a nice like mudded trench effect. And I'm just adding a bit of barbed wire in there, let that set in the mud. A little bit of super glue with it and it's good to go. Next up, I'm going to get my Broadsword Silver. This is the new technical speed paint metallics from the Army Painter, which I've been very much looking forward to using. So far, I'm very, very impressed. Just like you say, shake the bottle, put a drop on your palette, and then just mix it together. And all you need to do is literally, it's one layer straight on, and it's on. It's really, really good. I'll do a full review of this, but like I say, use your Broadsword Steel for this. Again, I've just switched from just to a smaller brush just to kind of make a bit more of a detailed effect with it, because like I say, it's quite a thinner paint, especially when you put it on your wet palette. Okay, so just need to take your time with it, but you just need the one coat and move it around. So I'm putting on the shoulder pads, the shoulder plates, the helmet, the gun, the back of the gloves. They've got some plates, and that's all you're going to need there with that. And also just the sort of dials on the rebreather itself. But one layer of this is all you're going to need. If you do feel like it's a bit too thin, add a second layer, but genuinely, you know, you won't need it. It's saved us a lot of time already. And that's how it looks there. Next, I've got my golden armor. Again, shake it all up, give it a really good shake, drop pop onto your wet palette. And then all I'm doing here is I'm just using the colouring in the hilt of the of the sword, and I'm doing the crest on his helmet, and just on the buttons as well, you can add on there. Again, take your time with this, okay, because it does run a little bit differently to metallic paints. It is a speed paint, so it's designed to just do what a normal contrast paint type would do, but just as a speed paint. It's really, really good. One layer's all you're going to need. Move it around, and it will do its job like a contrast paint does. I'm very pleased with it so far, and there will be a full review of these coming soon. But yes, it's all you need for that one there. And again, just on the buckles on the back, and then a little bit on the little badges and crests, or anything like with a little, what looks like an eagle. Throw a bit of that gold, that liquid gold on there. Next, we've got Enchanted Steel. I really like this colour. Same again, shake it up, drop on, and I'm just going to paint his sword with that Enchanted Steel look. I'm looking forward to doing some Grey Knights with this Enchanted Steel. It is lovely. And again, one layer is all you're going to need with this Enchanted Steel on the sword, and it'll give it like almost like a bluish hue to it. It's really, really nice. You probably just see there in the light, it just catches. It's got this like bluish tint to it. It's absolutely lovely. Yep, next we're going to get our Nuln Oil, and all the areas we've applied the steel sort of colours to, that silver, we're just going to throw in some, just a bit of Nuln Oil, just to kind of add it that sort of that grim dark look to it, just to really get into recesses. That silver does a really nice job, but the Nuln Oil, as always, just adds that little extra, doesn't it? You know, it just adds that little bit more to the model. So all the areas we've applied the silver to, we're just going to get a layer of Nuln Oil in there just to really darken it up a little bit. Next we get our Agrax Earthshade, and again we're just going to put this into all the areas we've applied gold to. Again, it just adds a little bit of, it's a little bit more to the model. Like I say, the gold does a really nice job, but that Agrax Earth just sits into it just even more nice, just kind of dulls it out a little bit, and just kind of gives it a bit more of a grim look. And again, just one layer of this is all you're going to need of Agrax Earthshade in all those gold areas. And again, for the wet mud look, I'm just throwing that Agrax Earthshade real loosely just in there. To create that grim dark look, all I'm doing is getting my Agrax Earthshade. I'm literally just peppering it around the base of his greatcoat. For the eyes, all we're going to do is some white scar onto our palette. A small layer brush is all you're going to need for this, or a small brush, very small layer brush. And all we're going to do is just in the eye lenses, just pop a little bit of white in there, Easy as that. Super easy. And then we're going to get either Blood Angels red or Flesh Tearers red, and same again, all we're going to do onto your palette, and then literally just where you've gone with the white, just boop over the, and if it's a little bit messy, so what, it will create like a little bit of a red glow around those eyes, which is what we want for our Death Court of Krieg. All right, hopefully that's done there. Finally, we're going to get our Storm. Oh, Jeepers Creepers! I'll put it in the description below because my mind's gone completely blank there. Stormhost Silver, that's the one. Stormhost Silver, and we're going to do the same again. Thin dry brush, take loads of it off, and we're just going to go all the metallics. We're literally just going to throw on just a little bit of that silver, just to give it a little bit of a scratched edge. All right, just as a bit of a highlight to the model. So even all the gold, all the silver areas, we're just going to apply that little bit of Stormhost Silver, just to kind of give it a bit of a catch light, scratch highlight on the model itself. All right. And hopefully you can see him all done there. Yep, so here he is, all done there, all based up, good to go. I've just added a little bit of flock into there, and obviously with the Agrax Earthshade, I've just popped that into the barbed wire. And like I say, to give that grim dark look, just get your Agrax Earthshade, just bang it onto the base of the coats for a little more of a mud effect. And this is another one that I've done as well. Well, that concludes today's episode of Heresy is My Therapy. Many questions have been asked about the barbed wire. I'll be honest, I bought it from a model train shop many years ago, and I've never really found a use for it until now. So with that in mind, as explained, or if I haven't explained it, I do apologise, but basically when I put the Sterling Mud down, I've put the barbed wire, turned it a bit more so it's a bit more smaller, into there with a bit of super glue, and then just washed it with some Agrax Earthshade. So that's what we did there. I really like how these have turned out. I like the grimdark look. I like the more darkened blackened trench coats that they fight in. And also as well, I have to say, those Army speed paint, metallic speed paints, are really good. There will be a full video on using those and why I really enjoy them. That will be coming up later on in the month. But otherwise, hopefully you've enjoyed how to paint your Death Court of Krieg with a bit of a grim dark look to the model. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. It always helps the channel grow to make more of these sort of tutorials and videos. And thank you as always for your support. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye bye.